What is up, YouTube? Welcome to PanFro Games. Today's video, we have some Pokemon Legends ZA leaks to discuss. And the best part about these leaks is we have Mega Evolutions that may have been revealed, which are incredibly exciting, and we'll dive into all of that and more. And of course, guys, don't forget to leave a like on this channel, subscribe if you're new. I really appreciate it. Support the channel by joining PanFam by hitting that join channel member button below. So we've had multiple images leak on 4chan, and the main image I want to talk about first is going to be the Mega Meganium sprite. Now, Mega Meganium would be a new Mega Pokemon for the Gen 2 starter, and Meganium is definitely a Pokemon that needs love. Now, does it determine this is real or not? Who knows? Something I did find rather interesting about this Mega Meganium is that it is in the same exact art style as the SV box sprites. So that's pretty interesting to me. When I look at like the sprites for Meganium from SV, this is a very similar art style, and I have to say that I don't know if Pokemon Legends ZA will take the exact same style that SV did for its boxes. I don't think it would, but that's probably a debunk right there. But let's entertain it, right? So we got the Mega Meganium Knight, and this was actually translated to just say essentially, this is how you get a Mega Meganium. There was no errors in the Japanese kanji of this, so this was all legitimate in the sense of the text makes sense. Now, I gotta say, this Mega Meganium does not look that interesting to me for a Mega. I think it would, I don't know, like when you look at the other Mega starters, I feel like they would look a little bit better in general. They're like a lot more evolved. Now we have a great image of the Mega starters that we've already received, and just regular Meganium down here too, right? So Venusaur, Mega Venusaur looks a lot different than regular Venusaur, right? I feel like there's a lot more going on it. Same with like the Charizards, you know? I mean, besides like Charizard Y is sort of the same, but I feel like in general, Mega Evolutions are usually a bigger change in design than not. And most of the time they are. I think Charizard's the closest one to its original in terms of its design when it comes to the Y one. But, you know, looking at this and then you compare it to a Meganium, it's like the flowers got a little bit bigger, its antennas got a little bit longer, its tail has a little butt thing on it. It definitely looks like it's going to be a grass and fairy type if this is true. But once again, I do want to bring up the box sprites, right? So in Pokemon Legends Arceus, this was the box sprites and the team sprites of the Pokemon in that game, and it was just a 3D model image. Now, because it is a Legends game, I do assume that Pokemon Legends ZA will have something similar to Legends Arceus because they are the same games in the same series, and I don't expect it would take something from Generation 9 and make the Meganium box sprite look like how it does in Scarlet and Violet. I just don't think that's the logic here because they are made by two different teams at Game Freak. So I don't know. I do think Mega Meganium could be something that we can see because this Pokemon definitely needs it. I just don't necessarily think this image is real, and if it is, then it's incredibly disappointing for me. Now, besides Mega Meganium, the other Mega listed here is the Mega Clauncher, and supposedly this is a Water and Steel type. But once again, another thing that I could say probably this leak is fake is, why is this image blurred? Why is this image blurred, but they clearly show off the Mega Meganium, the Mega Meganium Knight, and then the regional double? So this is just like very suspicious, but apparently that is supposed to be a Mega Clauncher, and that is actually a boss fight at a power plant from the text we'll go over in a moment. And as I mentioned, this is a regional double, a Kalos double right here. So regionals would be back, and I assume there would be regionals. I always assume that. I mean, Pokemon Legends Arceus has regionals. Why wouldn't Kalos get their own regionals as well? Now, looking at the text here, the source of the OP pick, the post I posted of Meganium, is now deleted as well. It was in the part 2 from the source. The other images I received, Meganium Knight and Mega Sprite Mega Meganium. There is a ranch in Lemoyne City where you can exchange current terrain ride Pokemon. So seems like you can change out your terrain ride Pokemon. So one, this confirms ride Pokemon are back, just like they are in Pokemon Legends Arceus, and you can switch them out. Doesn't seem like you can just call them randomly, because in Pokemon Legends Arceus, you can just call them whenever you want. So that is definitely a mechanical change, and I'm sure that will change the structure of the gameplay if that is real. The person saw a Go-Go with double. doesn't seem like there's anything new for Go-Go. So it seems like Go-Go probably does not have a Mega, does not have a new form or an evolution or anything like that, but we'll have to see, who knows. And there is a problem with the water power plant with Mega Plza. Is a water and steel type Pokemon, and the battle is very hard. The person gave up for a bit and got mad, so that's up to where the images are. But once again, as we already talked about the image, I mean, I feel like if you battled the Pokemon in a boss fight, you would at least get a much better image of it. Like, I'm very confused. If you can, like, sit there and take an image of all these other things, why couldn't you get a picture of the Mega Plza? That really doesn't make any sense to me in any way, shape, or form. I think that's super suspicious for sure, and definitely is the most damning thing against this whole leak in rumor. But going back to the Dubwool regional, the Kalos regional, we get a better image of it here. And one, we do get confirmation it has feet. It has 4 feet. So that's not changing. And it has a massive horn structure going on. So 2 horns. Looks honestly like a demon goat, like a Satan sheep here. And then it has these crazy spikes. So I'm guessing like maybe it'll like roll up into a ball. Similar, like it can be like a Dawn fan where like it rolls up and then just like launches at you. That would be pretty cool. But I do have issues with this image in the sense that the background textures and the ground textures don't feel like they would fit into Pokemon, especially this background textures. Like, where's this image is being taken? I mean, the fact that they already mentioned that they saw it at a ranch, but this is the image they're taking, you would at least think it would have a ranchier background, but it seems like it's in a cave or a cavern or a canyon or something like that, some sort of mountainous region. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. Just another thing to poke a hole into this leak rumor, but I do actually like the design of it. And more info about that. The Kalos Dubwool is a fire and steel type Pokemon. That's really interesting. Fire and steel. I mean, it makes sense from the image for sure. That would be pretty good typing overall. That's Heatran typing. 4 times weak to ground, but I mean, maybe it has a way to deal with it. Maybe it has some better stats and becomes a better Pokemon in general. So Mega Johto and Kalos starters. So, well, I don't know if that confirms a Mega Kalos or is it just Mega Johto, but we already saw the Meganium. So Fraligator, Water Dragon. I mean, I think that's the most obvious way to make a Mega Fraligator's Water Dragon. It already gets Dragon Dance and like Dragon Claw. Makes a lot of sense to go down that route. Grass Fairy Meganium, I mean, makes sense just from the image here. Going all in the pink, and everyone, you know, that's pretty much everyone's wish, is like Meganium becomes a Grass Fairy. So I don't think that's anything too crazy. And then the Mega Typhlosion will just be a fire type, which I actually think would be pretty cool just to go mono fire, especially because we already have Hisuian Typhlosion that is already fire and ghost. Like, might as well just make Mega Typhlosion better at what it does and just being a volcano. So I think mono fire actually works pretty well there for the flavor, in my opinion. So returning characters, Looker and Gita. So the fact that there's Looker and Gita and it's returning characters mean that this is definitely going to be some sort of sequel to X and Y, maybe like an X and Y 2 in that way. Looker helps you investigate power shortages in Lemoyne City. Zygarde cells are consuming power. So it seems like Zygarde has been broken up into its cellular form, and we need to go around the city, restore the city's power by taking back the Zygarde cells. I mean, maybe they're corrupting the Pokemon, maybe they're making the Pokemon go crazy, but it seems like something is triggering Zygarde, and we gotta put Zygarde back together / save the city from Zygarde cells. No past themes in the game. Lemoyne City is trying to redevelop after Lysandre's attacks in X and Y, so confirmed sequel there if this is real. But there are more problems in Kalos causing Zygarde to scatter itself around Lemoyne. The more Zygarde cells you obtain, the more Lemoyne can redevelop and more Pokemon start coming into the city. So that makes a lot of sense. That's a good gameplay hook and good mechanic. And I assume like you find X amount of cells, then certain Pokemon will come into certain parts of the city, or if you clear certain zones in the city, then okay, now more Pokemon will come into here, and I'm sure the more you get, the rarer the Pokemon can come in, and you know, that makes a lot of sense. I'm also sure this ties into boss fights. You beat a boss who's probably triggered by the cells or something like that, then you are able to explore that new zone, or maybe more Pokemon actually spawn into that zone and things like that. So from a gameplay hook, that sounds really good and fascinating. I'm all about it, but obviously I just don't think these images are real. I mean, the Meganium already said, like I said, it looks like an SV sprite, and the clots are here. I don't know why they couldn't show it. The regional Dubwool actually looks pretty decent though. I'll give them that. That's a very high quality fake leak. I'll say this, Very high quality fake leak. 90% chance this is not real, but I think it's very interesting. And I want to hear in the comment section below if you are remotely interested in a Mega Meganium, a regional double, or Mega Klotzer. I think these are cool ideas in general. I just hope if we do get Mega Meganium, that it actually looks better than this, because I think this looks awful. Anyways, guys, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you're new. I really appreciate it. Catch you guys next time. Peace out and have a great one.